Hello everyone, welcome to our week 4 lecture. In this lecture, we are going to talk about a very important social phenomena known as strong and weak ties, and also the topic is known as strength of weak ties. So, let's begin. So, in this topic, we are going to discuss some fundamental social network issue that illustrate the following themes. So first of all, we are going to find out, we are going to actually discuss how information flows through a social network. Then how different nodes can play structurally different distinct roles in this process. And how structural consideration shape the evolution of the network itself over time. So when we think about network and communities, what is the basic picture come to our mind? So most often we think about the network. A network may look like this. Okay, so we know that in social network, a network means a network means a edge between people. Okay, so in this figure we can think about each of the node. Uh, they each of the node represent people, and each of the edge represent a relationship. Okay, and here we can call that like as a tie. A relationship, it can be a friendship, or it can be any form of any means of relationship between two people. Okay, now when we think about network and communities, network means a relationship between two people, and community means we think about a community means actually a group. All right, so community means it's a group of some strong bonded people. All right, so think about like you have a group of UC Denver friend, or you have a group of your school friend network. Okay, so here in this figure we can think about that. We can classify the network like as a three communities. Okay, so a community may look like this. So in this community, a community is a group of people with strong bond or strong tie. Okay, now we are going to define strong tie or weak tie later, but now we are going to we're going to see just a common view, a common picture when we think about a network and community. What is the first picture come to our mind? Okay, so in this figure we can think about there are three groups or three communities, and uh, each edge represent a relationship between two people. Each node means one people, and edge means it's a relationship between connects two people. Okay, now there are some edges that is uh, inside one community, and there are some edges that is in between two communities. Okay, all right, so that's a general picture how a network and community may look like. Now we are going to see some formal definition of strong tie and weak tie, and the structural definition of relationship. So one of the fundamental issue we are going to discuss in this topic, that how information flows through a social network. Okay, and how different nodes actually can play structurally different roles in this process. So in this flow of network, we're going to discuss about role of nodes and roles of links or edges. So how different nodes can play different role in this process, or how different edges can play different roles in this process. Individual nodes and links can have actually a very complex effect that can ripple through a population as a whole. So, so here we are going to discuss about this topic, the strong tie and weak tie. This social phenomena actually came from a very interesting research article. Okay, so this article's title was The Strength of Weak Ties. So this one is a research article and the strength of weak ties. And this research article is one of the most influential sociology papers I've ever written. And this one is one of the most cited paper. Okay. So let's talk about just a little bit of history of this paper. Okay. Or of this research article. So as a part of the PhD research thesis, Dr. Mark Granovetter interviewed some people. Okay. So Dr. Mark Granovetter interviewed few people, and he asked them that how did they find their job. Okay. So that means actually he asked people about how did they get the information to find their new job. That means he targeted few people who recently switched their job, and he interviewed them that how did they get the information about their new job. Okay. All right. So now interestingly, he kept getting the same answer almost from everyone, that almost everyone actually got the news of the job from an acquaintance, not a friend. Okay. Now, so that came out actually a bit surprising to Dr. Mark. Okay. So the thing is that the idea is that probably your close friends should have the most motivation to help you when you are between jobs, right? But the fact that most people know their new job from acquaintance, not from their close friend. Okay. Now so that came out bit of surprising, because he thought that why it is so often that your most distant acquaintances who are actually to thank for your crucial information leading to your new job. Okay. So that is the actually history of this research article, The Strength of Weak Tie. So the idea is that Dr. Mark interviewed people that how did they find out the job. So intuitively we think that we got the information, the most important information about job, from our close friend. Okay. So that was actually our initial that was his initial idea, but he found it very surprising that most people find the information of their new job from from a distant relation or acquaintances, not from their friends, not from their close friends. Okay. All right. So Dr. Mark Granovetter then define two perspectives of friendship. Okay. So one perspective of friendship is structural. So the structural perspective of friendship focuses on the way the friendships span different portions of the full network. So which actually defines the structure of the friendship network. Okay. Now friendship can span different part of the network. Okay. So whether it's a strong friendship or weak friendship, the structural perspective of friendship says that that friendship span different portion of the full network. Now if we consider that as a full network, now the structural perspective will tell us that friendship spans different parts of the network. Okay. Now this person, for example, say this node is connected with this node, and this node connected with this node, and you can tell that this node is connected with this node. So that's how actually at some point, at some degree, the node 1 is connected with this node 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so a friendship spans different parts of the network. So there are another perspective. The second perspective of friendship is interpersonal. So interpersonal perspective considers purely local consequences that follows from a friendship between two people. Okay, now interpersonal perspective says that a friendship between two people can be either strong or weak. Okay, now the friendship, we can classify the friendship as a two category, either strong or weak. Okay, so how to classify them, we are going to think about that later. So now from his research, from his interview with people, Dr. Mark Granovetter came up with these two perspective of friendship. So one is purely structural, all right, so which means that the friendship network can span different parts of the network. Okay, and the interpersonal perspective says that the friendship between two people can be either strong or weak. Now if we look at this picture, what do you think? Which age is the strong friendship and which age is the weak friendship? So if we have this one kind of age that connects two community or two group. Okay, so this age is in between two communities, and there is another friendship or age that is inside a community. Okay, both of the node is in the same group, and for the age 1, let's see, this one is age 1 and this age is age 2. The age 1 connects two people that are in two different communities. So how we can actually tell that which age is a strong friendship and which age is a weak friendship? Okay, now from intuition we can say that in this age they are actually from this connected two people are from different communities, so probably this is a weak friendship. And here in this age, the age 2, that is connecting two people, both of them are in the same group, okay, or same community, so probably this is a strong friendship. Okay, but we are going to see some formal definition how to classify a weak tie or strong tie. So Dr. Granovetter makes a connection between social and structural role of an age. So the first point is a structure. So structure means structurally embedded ages are also socially strong, and long range ages spanning different parts of the network are socially weak. So according to Dr. Granovetter's theory, it says that structurally embedded ages are socially strong. So what it means that, and long range ages spanning different parts of the network are socially weak. So if we go back to our last figure, we can see that here long range ages that span different parts of the network. So if we consider them, this is a one community and this is a second community, all right, different part of the network, and this age is spanning different part of the network, so we can classify them as a socially weak. Okay, and structurally embedded ages are socially strong. So here few of the ages, let's think about that, few of the ages are structurally embedded, because if we think about that now, so they are connecting two people in the same group, all right, and also connecting people in the same group, and for each of the people has actually a lot of mutual connection. Okay, so seems like they are very structurally embedded ages. And According to Dr. Granovetter's theory, so structurally embedded edges are also socially strong. Alright, now we are going to see another important, interesting perspective of information. Okay, so the idea is that probably we already know from intuition that the intuition that if the edges are structurally embedded, they will be strong. Okay, so from the intuition, so probably we already get the idea that this edge is a weak edge and this edge is a strong edge or strong friendship, and this is a socially weak friendship. Okay, so all right, now what is the interesting thing behind that? Okay, now why actually we are studying the topics that strength of weak tie. Okay, now if the tie is a weak, what is interesting in behind them? Okay, now there comes the most interesting part, is that the second point of structural and social role of edge is information. Okay, so looks like that long range edges allow you to gather information from different parts of the network, for example like how to get a job. Okay, so it seems like the long range edges that we described in our last perspective, that long range edges that are socially weak, they actually allow us to gather information from different parts of the network. Okay, and that helps us to get some really important information like how to get a job. Okay, or that means how to get a information of a new job. All right, and structurally embedded edges are heavily redundant in terms of information access. Okay, so let's compare these 2 points together and we will find actually the most interesting information. So the structure point says that structurally embedded edges are socially strong. Now the second point in information, it says that structurally embedded edges are heavily redundant in terms of information access. So what it means that, let's look at this picture, let's look at a particular community. So here if we look at the person, look at the node and their edges, we can see that actually there are actually a lot of connected group, and most of the people has a lot of mutual friendship, mutual tie. Okay, so it means that actually all of the information in the structurally embedded edges, all of the information are heavily redundant. Okay, so think about like that. Let's see one example. Let's see, here are 5 friends, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, now 5 friends, most of them are connected with each other. So as this is a strong group, strong community, that means there are actually a lot of mutual friendship. So A is friend with B, E, D, C, and probably B is also friend with E, C, D, like that. Okay, so lots of structurally embedded edges and lots of mutual friendship. So what happens, so if A knows something, that means this is most likely B, C, D, E, everyone will know that. So if C knows something, so this is likely that A, B, D, everyone will know that. So what it says that in these structural embedded edges, all the informations are actually heavily redundant. Okay, although it says that from this community, from this structure, it says that all of the relationship are very strong, but in perspective of information access, all of the information are heavily redundant. So it means that there is a less chance that you are going to get a new information from this community, from this group. Okay, now let's compare again structure versus information. So in structure it says that long range edges spanning different parts of the network are socially weak. Okay, so it means that, let's see, we have another group like that. So this is also structurally embedded group, and a long range edge that spans different part of the network, this is a socially weak group. Okay, but from the information perspective it says that long range edges allow us to gather information from different part of the network, and it actually really gives us information, some important information, like for example how to get a news of a job. Okay, so this structurally this is a weak tie, but using this weak tie actually this group may have access to some important information that is going to be only possible by using this network. Okay, using this network. So this is a community, this has some different kind of information, and this is a community and this can have some different kind of information. So all information from this community can be accessible by this community. So let's mark that it's a community C1 and this is a community C2. Okay, as they are different kind of community, so probably they have different kind of information. So all kind of information from community C1 can be only accessible from community C1 to C2 only by using this long range network. Okay, although this long range network is defined as a socially weak, but in perspective of information access seems like this long range network is really important. Okay, so here comes the most one interesting and most important phenomena of social networking is strength of weak tie. Okay, so Dr. Granovetter actually from his interview he found out this very interesting phenomena is that although some social tie seems weak structurally, they are actually very important to gather information and to make the information flow over the whole network. Okay, all right, so we are going to continue our discuss